Welcome heroes of Eorzea. Since we got this video for healers and tanks, it is time to take a closer look at all those floor tanks, greedy black mages or nasty summoners, standing for the third role, damage jobs or DPS. The first misconception, dealing DPS is my only job. Really? You can read what your job requires? No. Like healers and tanks have to enter your prime sector, you have to do that as well, when taking your job or raid progress seriously. Which doesn't mean to constantly use Valkyr as red mage. But even when there's only a small amount of tools to help tanks and healers in doing their job, the ones you have are even more important, and some keen timing is required of course. Let us start with Edel, being a role command to caster jobs. On the first look it doesn't really seem like a big deal, and the tooltip actually feels a bit outdated, as those base stat reducers seem to stand iconically for the Ram Reborn past. But believe it or not, they still work. Even when most mechanics seem to function as melee damage, they actually don't do in most encounters. Let us take Eden Force Savage for example. Even when the boss is hitting with its raw earthly power of brutality, the erupting waves hitting your group are mostly magical damage. That means only the tank busters are melee damage and cannot be reduced by Edel or other magical reducing tools. On the melee side of things, you have access to Feint, which is the same ability but reducing target strength and dexterity. And as you may guess, this is mainly important for tank busters, because most raid wide AoEs are magical damage like I explained earlier, with some exceptions of course. So to help your tank as best as you can, use Feint into tank busters, and in the best case try to communicate with your group. Mitigation can also be overkill, and you will be missing that later on. Above that, remind yourself of what I said about healing and tanking. Surely, you can focus on DPS completely, and when doing it right, you will provide a good contribution to the progress of your group. Unless you're doing that no matter the costs. If you ignore mechanics, don't move back to the center for receiving group heal or just stand in AoEs all the time. Even when your damage is insane, healers need to adjust. Which means instead of using another GCD for damage, which always is a notable difference since Shadowbringers, they need to take care of your lazy ass. Surely, there are some highly modified approaches for increasing the party's overall uptime. But eating AoEs or other mechanics unnecessarily will always devaluate raid DPS. For black mages, I am really sorry, but that is the only truth I know. And there's definitely some healers that will take care of your self-engulfing combat style and respect the DPS advantage you would provide. If square handles are Aggie Master like Kimari, Broken Horn, Broken Summoner. And to remain at this topic while also adding the red mage, while in log runs, speed runs or hardcore static raiding, raising can be neglected, but for all other types of content, just do it! Getting people back to life can make a big difference, especially when getting back healers with LB3 ready. This can turn a clear wipe into a win, or at least into another step into progress. The other side of that coin is our second misconception. You cannot have enough support or care, which unfortunately still circulates in the mind of some people, actually more often than you would guess, which means that some people are eagerly focused on keeping the balance, moving away from combat action or stick to an endless series of supporting abilities mindlessly. Like healers or tanks or anything else except crafter jobs maybe, we are bound to the ABC guideline, which means that you will always use weapon skills or casts that trigger your global cooldown. You're not doomed to the end of your existence if you delay, skip or prefer movement to survive certain things, or by having little brain lags maybe. We all have sometimes. But standing idle or using OGCDs over and over without using GCDs first is wrong. Not the balance wrong, but intrinsically wrong, disregarding Square's game design. Therefore, even when it seems to be very close and dramatic in some situations, have faith in your healers. If they cannot do the job, no one can, at least not for long. When you drop to low HP, don't run away from your boss or don't fall into panic, cancelling all reasonable fighting. Laying down your weapons won't save you. Far from it. Sometimes you will even finish the combat by pushing in as hard as you can just to smash down the last HP bits of the boss. And to come back to the core of this misconception, even when we have talked about mitigation tools, your prime task is to deal damage. If you are bad at it, the group may suffer and others will have to compensate your missing damage. That hopefully will still be enough to get the thing done. If you really struggle in dealing the appropriate damage, giving all your effort, check out the Balance website or my ultimate guides to receive a solid foundation with rotations or battle mechanics for each job. Okay, the last one. Take it slow and enjoy the show. Especially in copied factory, expert dungeons or non-savage content, but also in extreme trials and savage encounters, I often experience people not being melded or having the lowest possible gear to fit the item level requirements of content. While I mostly understand the reason behind it, and I don't accuse newcomers for not having gil or not knowing how to do it correctly, there are still those people that just don't care about their contribution and favor being pushed through content by other people. Please, I know we all have limited energies and time and experience, but doing content in MMOs together requires the effort and contribution of each participant. At least put in some materia for the pieces with 450 and above. Those are really not that expensive, and if you head for content meeting the minimum requirements, push out as hard as you can. For all those with full gear but still thinking, hey, 24-man duty roulette or fate or A rank, let's go AFK for some moments and let others deal with that stuff. I know, the good old times of Alterac Valley, you couldn't stand 6 or more hours of constant participation, but in Final Fantasy, most content is dealt with in plenty minutes, so go for it and help your group to get it done in less time and with more efficiency. TLDR, it's a group effort. Even when being a DPS, it is very nice to know the tasks and turns of your party or raid members. Which means, when you have the knowledge to help them in accomplishing their duty, just try to help wherever possible, and everyone will be happy. I hope that this video could clarify some of the common mistakes or motivate some of you to give 110% or more to grant all players a better overall experience. Did I miss something here, or did you experience any special adventure you want to tell about? I'm always curious about your feedback and stories, so put them into the comment section. Thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, feel free to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button. Or for going to the next level of support, check me out on Twitch or Patreon. See you guys in the next video, and until then, take care and stop annoying all those poor healers. They deserve all our love and support, at least in most of the cases.